Pet owners hoping to adopt dogs seized from a North Country animal rescue got a chance to meet some of the pups up for adoption last weekend.
No, I want the other one.
The Elmore SPCA held an adoption fair in the parking lot of the Clinton County Jail, where the dogs have been housed and cared for since they were removed from the rescue.
I think he's got part lab in him too.
And we're joined now by the Executive Director and President of the Board of Directors of Elmore SPCA, Rebecca Moss-Patnode and Lori Parsons. Welcome. We appreciate you being here with us today.
Thank you for having us.
You were called in about a month and a half ago at the end of February to assist the Clinton County Sheriff's Department when they raided an animal rescue in Beekmantown and seized 49 dogs. The Sheriff's Department moved in after getting complaints from people who had purchased dogs from a canine gem. The dogs were removed and taken to the Clinton County Jail, where they have been housed in an empty cell unit ever since. The day after they were seized, the sheriff and the district attorney talked about the conditions the dogs were found living in and the charges faced by the owner.
Most, if not all, were underfed, some severely underfed. To have them just boxed up and caged up like that and be treated in that way is just not acceptable.
I believe there's 25 counts of violation of for the condition of the dogs, and then there's approximately 45 counts of charges for the facility itself.
The sheriff said many of the dogs had been living in small cages on bare cement floors and that many appeared malnourished. Were they in really tough shape when you first got them?
Yeah, I would say they all seemed emaciated. We did have some with some parasites, including heartworm, along with some wounds on their feet from being on cement. So yeah, I would say they were in rough shape.
You took them under your care right there at the jail. The county was kind enough to say, bring the dogs here, we will keep them here in this empty cell unit.
The Sheriff's Department was very well prepared to lead this whole situation, this whole seizure of animals, and we worked with veterinary services that were present, and the processing went very well, very smoothly.
And you're grateful to the jail because that was the best case scenario to bring them right there to the jail.
We would never have had a place to house all of these animals. Our shelter's full. Shelters throughout our state and in adjoining Vermont are full, so there would have been no place that we were aware of that we had readily available to use for this purpose.
Even if we weren't full, there's no way for us to humanely house that number of animals in our facility. It's just too small.
You fed the dogs, you cared for the dogs, you brought in veterinarians to treat them as well. How did the dogs respond?
Shockingly well. All of the dogs have been incredibly sweet. None of them have shown any aggression issues. On the day of the seizure, a lot of them were shockingly calm or very excited to see us. They were very excited for food, but I feel that animals really know when you're there to help them, and these dogs were no exception. They let us do everything we needed to, and I really believe that they knew that we were there to help them.
When we first brought them down to the facility, you could see emaciation, the spines, the ribs were showing. They needed to rest, they needed to eat, to nourish themselves. Now that they've had this moment to get well, they're active. They now, when you come in, you can hear them barking. They know our routine. They are just happy with life right now.
Did they immediately begin to put on weight?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Within the third weighing, which was less than 3 weeks, the totality of weight gain was 300 pounds.
Was it mostly malnutrition, or did the dogs also have medical issues as well?
Some of them did have medical issues. Most of it was malnutrition. Like I said, there were 6 dogs that had heartworm. One of them was so severe that he was in heart failure and needed to be euthanized. The other 5 with heartworm are so far doing well. They've completed their first 30 days of treatment, and in the next couple of weeks they will be going in to have their first injection to begin killing the heartworms. So we're excited to see them begin to heal. A lot of those dogs have gained a significant amount of weight as well.
What's been the response from the community?
Incredible.
nothing short of incredible. They've been amazing. They've responded with cash donations, with product donations, the businesses as well. We were amazed.
We ended up needing a lot of volunteers to help our staff that was left behind at the shelter to take care of the home front, if you will.
Yeah.
And a lot of volunteers were happy to go and volunteer right at the shelter. So that was a huge help to our staff. It made it so that we didn't have to worry about what was happening back at the shelter. So the response has been outstanding. I can't thank everybody enough.
I get an email every time a Chewy delivery is made, and I must have had on a single day at least 20 announcements that a delivery was being made.
You took in 49. One did die, as you mentioned. Out of the 48, have some already been adopted, and how many are up for adoption now or will be up for adoption?
Yes, we have had 18 go into their new homes. We have 30 left. At least one of them has a verbal commitment, so he will be going home within the next week. We have some that are going in for surgery to have their neuters done, so they will be becoming available. We're hoping to showcase them once they're healed from their surgery. But everybody's doing great, so they will all be uploaded to our pet finder in the next week or so, in hopes that we can start showcasing them as well.
We do know that malnutrition can have an effect on animals and can cause some concerns for them for future health or for their behavioral kind of issues that could come from that. They show every sign of making it through this entire process very positively, and so we're extremely hopeful.
We showed the adoption fair that was held this past Sunday outside the jail, where people interested in adopting one of these dogs got a chance to come and meet them in person, play with them, take them for a walk. If folks are interested in adopting, what's the best way? You mentioned both the website and Facebook page. What's the best way for them to go see the dogs and to start the adoption process?
So we like to have people pre-approved if possible. If you can go to our website, elmorespca.org, and fill out an application. Something very good to know is a lot of the time with our applications, getting a hold of your references and your landlord is what backs up the process. So us calling and then having to call back and then playing phone tag with people. Your references can actually go on the website and fill out a reference form. We just ask that they give us as much detail as possible, and that tends to speed up the application process. If you are looking at a specific dog that's at the jail, you can either send us a Facebook message, you could call the shelter, or you can send us an email and we'll set up a time for us to meet.
And they can see photos of all the dogs on your website?
Yes, as they become available, they are going right onto our website.
And are you planning more adoption fairs like the one you held this past weekend?
We would like to, yes. It was a great way to showcase multiple dogs at a time.
The hope would be to do another meet and greet as soon as possible, potentially as soon as this weekend.
And if you do decide to do it, the best place that they'll see that, folks will see that, is right on your Facebook page.
Correct.
That's
Yes.
where you'll
Yes.
update everything and let them
Yes.
know
Yep.
when it's happening and what dogs will be there for them
What
to
dogs
meet.
would be
Yes.
there and what times they would be available to be shown.
Lori Parsons, Becky Moss-Patno, thank you so much for taking the time to come in to talk with us.
Thank you
Thank
for
you for
having
inviting
us.
us.
Turns out another adoption fair is being held this Saturday. Outside the jail, the Elmore website and Facebook page have photos and info on the dogs up for adoption. Online and on our YouTube channel, watch our extended interview on the supplies the shelter says would help care for the dogs at the jail, and new state regulations that are forcing the shelter to undergo a major expansion.